Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's time for that regular daily briefing. And this one's going to be different from the other ones. This comes after his extended Fox sit down, which I feel like I should uh, do a response to as well. I mean, that might be necessary as cluster F and snafu-licious as it was. But man, third things third. Let's get right in there to the to the Easter Bunny predictions of the president. By the way, today is very special. I don't know if you guys know this, insofar as uh, the the briefing goes. Things turned a corner today with these briefings. Sorry, my hair's a little crazy. I've been wearing a lot of headgear going out, and when I went grocery shopping, I basically am starting to look like the villain in Winter Soldier. Um, but we'll just all have to deal. Hello, Starly. Good to see you. Uh, hi, Hal Vickery. Good to see you. Glad you could join us right out of the front. Galaxy. Hello. Hi, Joe Carter. How's everybody doing? Glad you guys could be here. Tweet out and share. Let people know I'm live. All that stuff. Before we get started, or as we get started, or when we get started, or how we get started. It doesn't matter. It's all madness. This is all just insanity. Yeah. So, anyways, okay. So hair is very fluffy today, but we'll just have to get through it. Happy birthday, EO. All right. I'm glad, Victoria. I'm glad you're happy and healthy. Okay. So here, here we go. This very special, interesting thing. So Fauci and Birx and Kudlow are here. Kudlow was famously falling asleep in the last one. They just walked out as I'm starting this, a little bit delayed. But watch what happens. They are out there for a full, I don't know, like maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds before, oh, bubble. Hello, everybody. I'm here today. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Like, look at that. Usually he's been making these, hi, Glitch. Thanks. Usually he's been making everybody wait. Have you noticed that? Like he makes them dangle like a celebrity. Like he made a beeline for this, and look at the look on his face. He's amped for this one, kids.
Thank you very much.
He's very excited to tell us all that the dead just went from 15 to 0 because they stopped counting.
Been a very busy day.
Oh, sorry. Did we? Sorry. I felt like we all owe him an apology. That's damn, dude. Here's to your golf game.
I want to thank the American people for the incredible sacrifices that they're making on behalf of our nation. And I want to encourage everyone to keep following our guidelines on social distancing, avoiding large gatherings, and hand washing, and all of the other things that
All the other things that we're telling the red states to do and they're not doing because they all think it's a QAnon lie from outer space,
everybody knows they're supposed to be doing.
but they're not doing them. So start doing them.
Ultimately, the goal is to ease the guidelines and open things up to very large sections of our country as we near the end of our historic battle with the invisible enemy.
Near the end? What are you talking about? We're not even in. Oh.
It'll go on for a while, but
Could go on for a while, but we're nearing the end of the thing we can't see the end of. It's this whole coronavirus thing is kind of like the end of the coronavirus is it's like my penis. I haven't seen it in a long time, and no one knows when we'll see it, but I trust that it's there.
we win. We'll win.
We're gonna win. Look how excited I am to win.
I said earlier today that I hope we can do this by Easter.
So that all the Jesus people will think I did a miracle and I'll get reelected.
I think that would be a great thing for our country, and
I don't know. Sorry.
we're all working very hard to make that a reality. We'll be
Reality? The thingy?
meeting with a lot of people to see if it can be done. Easter.
Just people, whoever. Oh, that's sound effects from the chat. Sorry, I'll hold on. I'm pausing that. That'll get really annoying. That's options. Where is that business? Window, sound effect, special. Oh, I see. Hold on. Preferences, checking my preferences. You always have to check your there it is. Hold on. I bet you something got while I was messing around. Uh, Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, category. What is happening? Sound effects. No, don't play sound effects when the things are happening. Sorry, that was my bad. Got it. I got it. It's all fixed.
Easter is a very special day for many reasons. For me, for a lot of our friends, that's a very special day.
Oh yeah, he's a big fan of Easter. In case you didn't know, it's one of it's my favorite because of nobody likes a giant chocolate holiday based on a pagan sex ritual like me and the wife.
And what a great timeline this would be.
If I could pull this off,
Easter as our timeline, what a great timeline that would be.
oh, it would be so good if we could just get through all the dead people in the next 3 weeks.
My first priority is always the health and safety of the American people. I want everyone to understand that we are continuing to evaluate the data.
Oh yeah, you can tell he's winded from evaluating data. That's but sorry, data. It's pronounced data.
Working with the task force and making decisions
Task force, forcing the task. We're good.
based on what is
Making Fauci sad.
best for the interest of our fantastic country.
Oh, it's a fantastic. The whole country's doing a fantastic job. Don't you feel fantastic, guys? He thinks we're fantastic. Lucky us.
In order to defeat the virus, we must
Defeat it, punch it in the balls, kick it when it's down.
continue to be very strong.
We got to be strong.
Your resilience and spirit has been inspiring to everyone.
Yeah, you can tell the amount of inspiring, just this vocal tone. You can tell. I mean, look, Martin Luther King is rolling over in his grave because he never had the passion, the ferocity, the keen, the cunning, the instinct. The instinct.
Right now, this virus is attacking 149 countries, but everybody looks to us and they're watching us.
Yeah. Yes, yes, they are. They're very much watching us because they're going, wow, well, it could be worse.
And I'm very proud to be your president. I can tell
Well, I'm. A lot of us are on the fence.
you that. There's tremendous hope as we look forward and we begin to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Do we really? Are we seeing the light? Guys, I didn't realize.
Stay focused and stay strong. And my
Stay home.
administration and
Stay home.
myself will deliver for you as we have in the past.
Oh boy, that I take that as a threat.
Let me provide you an update on critical preparations and supplies
Oh, this is gonna be good. Okay, so what do they have? What do we got?
in our war on the virus.
The war. It is really a war, honestly. Like I've ordered tanks and bombs because I mean, honestly, did you ever see the end of Outbreak? I thought it should have gone another way.
Through FEMA, the federal government
Think how much they would have saved on that town and what real estate people could have done with that town if they'd have just blown it up at the first sign of trouble.
is distributing more than 8 million N95 respirators.
No. No. N95 masks.
14 million surgical masks and many,
It's the same thing.
many millions more under order, and they'll be arriving soon.
Are they really? What are we? Everybody, check your watch.
2.4 million face shields, 1.9 million surgical gowns.
That's let's see. Quick, do the math. That's normal use for 2 weeks.
13.5 million gloves.
So yeah, and then you turn those inside out. You got 2 uses.
And more than 4,000 ventilators to the area.
Yeah, 4,000. Let's see, 16,000 in the whole country. 4,000 more. We only need 900,000 more.
Areas of greatest need have already been sent, and we have 4,000 being delivered to New York.
Yeah, really? Where'd the other ones go? If the 4,000 went to New York, where'd the other ones go? Tell us where the other ones went. Oh, wait a minute. There are no other ones.
The federal government is using every resource at
Well,
its disposal to acquire and distribute critical medical supplies.
supplies.
The core element of this strategy is my executive order authorizing the use of the Defense Production Act,
No, it isn't.
which has, as you know, already been activated
No, it hasn't.
actually a long time ago.
I did it before I even did it. I signed it even before during the Taft administration.
Quite a long time ago. Private
A long time ago. You signed it last Wednesday, and it still isn't in effect.
companies are
Jack ass.
heeding our call to produce medical equipment
Heed.
and supplies because they know that we will not
Because if you don't, you're going to be in bigger trouble. If you don't start telling people you got more stuff than you need,
hesitate to
you're not going to get any of the stuff you don't have.
invoke the DPA in order to get them to do what they have to do. It's called leverage. You don't have to
It's what?
use
You could do what I tell you, or your people don't get any. You're going to watch your citizens die. It's called leverage. It's in Art of the Deal, Chapter 4. You can't make an omelet without cooking some old people in their own mucus.
use it from the standpoint of actually it's been activated, but you don't have to use it. But the threat of it being there is great leverage.
The threat.
And companies are doing as we ask, and companies are actually even better than that. They're coming through and they're calling us.
Yeah, the ones that can already do this who are like, holy shit, we're going to lose an entire generation of our customer base. Perhaps we could help and do some cause marketing. And you know what? The White House should be calling us at any time because they know from the fact that we've gone through this type of stuff before in history, they can come to us. Oh, look, the phone isn't ringing. Maybe we should call them.
And
Don't, everybody, I know you're feeling goosebumps in the middle of this conference right now, but try not to throw your panties right away.
been really
At least get 4 uses out of them before you.
something to see this morning. Ford, 3M, General Electric Healthcare are making tremendous numbers. They've already started of respirators, ventilators, and face shields. They're working together. We didn't have to exercise or
We didn't have to tell them to do it. They know that if they do it first, we won't repurpose physically their entire factory. So we decided to give them a free factory somewhere else.
utilize the DPA in any way. The fact that we have it helps, but we didn't have to, and for the most part, we won't have to.
So that thing I said I didn't do. So, but I didn't have to do it, even though we need to do it. I didn't do that. Just so you know, doesn't need to be done.
We're receiving full cooperation from companies with the understanding that the federal government stands ready to compel.
Sorry, I got to stop for a second. I can only take so much of it at once, and I get goosebumps. My heart swells, and I start hearing the Lee Greenwood in the background, and it's just a tear. A tear comes to my eye. And I'm proud to be an American where this fool just tries to read.
Cooperation if need be. We haven't found that to be the case. It's been really
So good. They're doing a fantastic job. We don't have enough beds and ventilators and respirators, but you know,
amazing to see these
Wendy's,
big, strong, powerful, in some cases, very small companies.
little companies and big companies and fat companies and skinny companies and hot companies and some that are quite frankly twos.
Family-owned companies step up and make
Like Hobby Lobby step up and said, go back to work. There's no old people coming in here.
a lot of great product for what we're going through and what we will continue to be going through for a while.
Do you feel that? Feel that inspiration? For a while, but probably not. But it'll be done by Easter, right, Easter Bunny? Bawk, bawk.
The Army Corps of Engineers and the National Guard are building 4 hospital facilities in New York City at the Javits Center,
They're not building hospital.
which will be operating.
We're gonna just like China. We're building a hospital in like 20 seconds. Oh, hold on 1 second. Pause for a second. Um, babe, babe, can you check the pie? Thank you. I'm baking a pie, but I had to get on here. It's still in the oven. In honor of Reverend Al. I'm making blueberry pie for everybody.
Operational very soon. They've already
The blueberry pie. Companies large and small are making blueberry pies, leaving them on my windowsill, and I'm hoping a raven doesn't eat most of it.
started. In addition, they're building 4 separate medical facilities in different parts of the state.
No, they're not. You talked about this is the same shit.
We're dealing with Governor Cuomo on that.
Really? That's weird. Oh, he's the governor of yeah, you'd have to.
So you're going to have 4 hospitals.
It's the law. But nice of you to do that. Nice of you to stay within the law.
Hospitals and 4 medical facilities at the highest level, too. Really incredible facilities.
They're going to be great. They're like water slides, and everything's going to be all like French curly Q furniture. Melania's picking out the drapes right now. She's kind of like looking. The whole theme is like Fire Witch.
Temporary but incredible.
Temporary, but like a state fair. They're going to have funnel cakes and ventilators as far as the eye can see.
We're also deploying the U.S. Navy hospital ship.
Because I like the word deploy.
And that will be arriving in New York Harbor in the not too distant future.
Yeah, you've been saying that for days. Stop saying the same shit over and over.
It's finishing it.
It's called Comfort, and the other one's called Mercy. And I wanted to call them Death from Above, but somebody told me they're boats.
Maintenance, they're doing a very big maintenance, and what we did is we condensed it very seriously.
So much. We took a big maintenance and made it a small maintenance. What the?
And as you know, the other hospital ship, and these are incredible ships.
So good. They're pretty. Melania and I were on the bow going, King of the World.
It's already on its way to Los Angeles.
No, it isn't.
So we're in frequent contact with state and local officials and
damn it,
getting a lot of work done.
Are we?
We're likewise building hospitals in Los Angeles.
No, we're not building hospitals in Los Angeles. What the shit are you talking about? They are setting up temporary medical facilities like a bomb went off. They're not building hospitals, you jackass. They're trying to why would you be sending oh God.
We're working also the state of Washington. We're working.
You might have heard
with the governor of the state of New Jersey. We're building a medical facility, a hospital facility.
No, you're not. You're not building hospitals. What are you talking about? They're setting up like triage tents, you dick.
And doing a lot of work. I want to.
So good. I was down there like, I was like, eat shit, Jimmy Carter. We're having a barn raising. I told Pence has already started growing his Amish beard. He's always wanted one. Let's be honest.
Thank the people from FEMA, the great people from FEMA.
They're great. They're so great. All those people we talk crap about for years.
And also the Army Corps of Engineers. Secretary Mnuchin and the members of my administration continue to work closely with Congress.
Thank you, Tom.
I'm pleased to report that we are working to pass the biggest and boldest financial relief package in American history.
Yeah, because it's the biggest crisis in our economic history. You don't get points for that. We're putting the biggest cork in the side of the Titanic you have ever seen. There has never been a bigger cork.
Senators,
I get credit for coming up with the cork plan.
Will soon hopefully vote on a $2 trillion
Trump Cork 2020
bill that will deliver direct cash payments to struggling Americans. No fault of their own. This came out of
no fault. None. No, it's nobody's fault but mine.
Of nowhere, nobody.
Nowhere, no how, nobody. I ain't got to. He's entered the just a gigolo phase.
Can imagine this even happened. But it's not their fault.
Just in case you think I'm laying blame.
Want to protect, and we will, all of the things that a person needs protected and a family.
I got your ass covered. Don't worry about it. I got corks galore.
River.
Anything you got a hole, we'll cork it up.
Family needs protected. We're working
Anything you need protected, we're going to protect it. Consider me your Ring doorbell, America.
on job retention loans for small businesses and extended unemployment insurance for laid off workers. The legislation will also
Thanks to the Democrats.
include billions of dollars for additional resources for our and really heroic, these are incredible doctors, nurses.
He was going to misread that word, so he did the dodge. The hero, if you think about it.
Brave.
One of my favorite Jodie Foster films, after Silence of the Lambs and before quarantine.
And hospitals, as well as support for hard-hit industries such as the airline industry and
the cruise ships and golf courses and spas.
Cruise ship industry, which employ tremendous amounts of people.
You don't realize how many people are on these boats.
And obviously serve very important functions beyond that.
Yeah, they're great. They do a lot of other stuff. You don't even realize how much these cruise ships actually do. You don't know.
With very tough protections for the American taxpayer. The
Not so much.
loans will be
It's why the bill's hung up right now.
very secure, and they'll
be secured, unsecured loans.
Be very profitable, and at the same time, they'll bridge. They call them bridge loans in many cases. They'll be bridging.
We're going to bridge a lot. We shouldn't burn our bridges when we're bridges. And let me bring Bridget up right now. Bridget, tell them how it works. Sometimes they're called bridge. I call them bridge
These companies
loans.
back into very good health. Some
Very great, but the people not so much. But business will be in great health.
of them are very important companies that
Some of them suck and are useless.
4 weeks ago didn't have a problem.
They didn't know. When I had the blindfold on and I was golfing more than any human being in history.
I'm also confident that the Democrats will do the right thing. I feel very confident. They're working very hard together right now, Republicans and Democrats, and they're getting very close to a very fair deal and a great deal for the people of our country.
They're great and fantastic.
Today, as you probably saw, the Dow surged over 2,100 points. That's the all-time record history
For chaos trades.
of the exchange. This is very encouraging, and I think part of the reason is they are looking at what is close to being passed, and I think a very big part of it is they see that we want to get our
Kidney stones.
country open as soon as possible. They see we're working
They're very excited about it, about dumping stocks for the last 3 weeks and then pouring it into 3M and all these companies I keep naming.
very hard on that. That's a very big factor, I think, in today's historic gain.
You should be proud, America, to be underwater.
The legislation developed in the
Yeah, never mind that it lost 10,000 points.
Senate is the first step to restoring confidence and stability to America's economy as we look ahead to the time when we can carefully and responsibly reopen our
I can't. And I'm proud to be an American.
country for business, and we hope that's going to be very soon. I want to assure Americans
Get the guys at the Dow who gave their cash. No, they just kept it.
that we have a team of public health experts. We've gotten to know them as well as I know them. They're great people, incredible.
So great people. Don't listen to them, though. Only listen to them half the time. By the way, eat pool cleaner, drink chloroform.
Talented. They love our country.
Do they?
Also,
Really? What? I mean, we know.
economists and other professionals working to develop a sophisticated plan to reopen the economy as soon as the time is right.
Soon as we can clear out all the suckers.
One based on the best science, the best modeling, and the best medical research there is anywhere on Earth.
Well, I mean, they do have phone booth sized testing facilities in South Korea where you can find out whether you have COVID-19 in 15 minutes now?
Our great people have been, especially when it comes to our public health experts and officials, have been helping other countries, dealing with other countries, constant touch with other countries, helping
Don't touch. No, they haven't been touching.
them out because many of them have never seen anything like what's happening.
No, no, they haven't. And we have. What are you talking about?
But our decision will be based on hard facts and data as to the opening.
I have to come out and say that because everybody threw it in my face when I was saying maybe the Easter Bunny will do it.
Also hopeful to have Americans working again by that Easter, that beautiful Easter day.
That beautiful Easter day, that in my basket will be hydroxychloroquine, zithromycin, bleach, pool cleaner, condoms.
But rest assured, every decision we make is grounded solely in the health, safety, and well being of our citizens.
Oh, yeah, I feel completely at ease about that. Go ahead.
This is a medical crisis. This isn't a financial crisis.
No.
But it's a thing that nobody has seen for many, many decades. Nothing like this.
Really? You sure about that? You want to tell us one more time how nobody's seen this before? Person who is in charge of making sure the government is ready for threats that might kill a bunch of Americans.
Marshaling our economic strength is a key feature of defeating the virus.
So it's super important that we go back to business as soon as possible so that Wendy's and Target and Walgreens can help us.
Producing the materials, supplies, and equipment that we need, and they're doing a really fantastic job.
Oh, fantastic job! Are we doing a fantastic job? Are we now at the heck of a job brownie for everyone?
We're helping
Heck of a job at all people doing stuff.
the governors. We had a conference call the other day with the governors, and we allowed the press to join us on the call, and the spirit between us and the governors has been really great.
It was so great. In 50 minutes, I spoke to 48 governors. I understood where they were coming from. You know, man.
Never be reliant on a foreign country for the means of our own survival. I think we've learned a lot.
Have we? What have we learned? Have we learned to listen to Dr. Fauci?
We've learned a lot.
We've learned a lot.
This crisis has underscored just how critical it is to have strong borders and a robust manufacturing sector. For 3 years, we've embarked
These Mexicans bringing this virus into, oh, Mexico shut their border first? Crap.
on a great national project to secure our immigration system and bring back our manufacturing jobs. We brought back many jobs, record numbers of jobs.
Records numbers, one of my favorite. My new record's coming out next month.
This really
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa Mia Moore.
This experience shows how important borders are.
Yes, if you don't have a bookstore on every main street, people will not read, and then they'll be dumb enough to put a Cheeto-faced game show host in charge of pandemic response.
Without borders, you don't have a nation.
Thanks, Chief. Yeah, we know.
Our goal for the future must
Nobody doesn't want borders, dummy.
be to have American medicine for American patients, American supplies for American hospitals, and American equipment for our great American heroes.
So if you're a foreigner here and you get sick, die in your Airbnb, okay?
Now both parties must unite to ensure the United States is truly an independent nation in every sense of the word. Energy independence, we've established that.
Yeah, during the Obama administration.
And something incredible that we've established where
Yeah, during the Obama administration,
energy
we became a net exporter of energy.
independent, manufacturing independence, economic independence, and territorial.
Basically, this is like Brexit in the coronavirus version.
Independence enforced by strong sovereign borders. America will never be a supplicant nation.
What? What are you? What kind of fantasy?
We will be a proud,
We will not take a knee to King Corona.
prosperous, independent, and self-reliant nation. We will embrace commerce with all, but we will be
This is just too inspiring to do in one. Guys, am I the only one that's hard right now? Honestly, be honest.
dependent on none.
We don't need you. You're not my real dad. We have literally gone to, you can't tell me what to do. You're not my real dad presidency.
Above all, we know that the best thing for
Look at Fauci is like looking at him like an assassin come to take him out right now. Like, I'm pretty sure I could take him. He'd never see it coming.
our economy and the world right now is a very, very
Shut that phone off. I'm not taking calls from governors right now.
powerful victory over the virus.
It's already, well, you don't know it, but we already won it.
Every day, the American people are showing the unity
I may lose the disease popular vote, but I'll win the disease electoral college, meaning more people will die, but the businesses that support me will survive.
and resolve that has always defined the character of our nation.
So inspiring.
New York, citizens are using 3D printers to make hundreds of face shields. They're making them by the hundreds.
They don't, no, they're not.
In Texas, businesses and churches are uniting to collect gloves and thermometers for hospitals. In
We're
the
collecting-
selfless action,
We're collecting
Day
all these
quicker.
things.
If every
Oh, what
American
happened?
will
Get
put
back.
into
What are you doing?
practice
That's not-
president's-
I'm not watching his same crap yesterday. Hold on.
If
What,
every
he
American
jumped
will
ahead
do
that
this.
far? No.
I have no
what they did in
survival, I think we've learned a lot
I'm not
and
watching.
equipment for our great American heroes. Now both parties must unite.
No, we are.
In New York, citizens
I can't tell where
probably
he is
see you
in the
again
speech 'cause
tomorrow.
it's
So,
so
Deborah,
dull.
please.
Yeah, oh,
Need to come up. Glorious future that can never be denied. It never will be denied. Now, what I'd like to do is perhaps ask a person who has really established us.
let me bring her up right now. You guys know her. You love her. You can't figure why she listens to my bullshit out. Here she is.
Herself as maybe the world's great expert on what she does.
On whatever it is. I don't know what she does, but because she's on stage with me, she must be the best.
If I could ask Deborah to come forward and say a few words, and then I'll ask Tony to come up and speak, and then our vice president, and then we'll take a few questions, and we'll do it quickly, and we'll probably see you again tomorrow. So, Deborah, please.
Deborah, please. Do something. Say something. Deborah, say it. Ladies and gentlemen, Deborah Burke.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today I have my scarf around my neck because you tried to strangle me when I told you that it's going to be weak.
I think those of you who heard the town hall
Don't read into my wearing black too much. It's just that I use this to fade into the background. I take my scarf off and he can't see me.
we are continuing to accelerate testing at a record rate. We now have 370.
What record is this? Can we compare records? Have we done that? Have the Guinness people called?
70,000
She's got hickeys from Fauci. Like she and Fauci are like, this is the real drama. This whole thing. Is that what you're saying? That she's covering up her hickey because they're like, it gets lonely working on this team.
tests that have been done.
Why is everyone having more fun than me?
The majority of those, over 220,000 in the last 8 days, which of those of you who have been tracking the South Korea numbers, put us equivalent to what they did in 8 weeks that we did in 8 days. This was made possible.
They have a much smaller population, and look at him. Huh? Look at us.
Because of the
But believe that.
HHS team
Look at his throwing those weird.
working together, bringing together the strength of the
Huh?
FDA with the CDC and under the leadership of Secretary Azar. We're very
See that? More than South Korea. Now, That's largely because everyone in the government has been tested, and that including the NBA.
Very proud of those numbers, but we know that we have to do more, and we continue to accelerate in
Citizens, I suppose.
testing to ensure that those who need the test are tested first and have access.
And by them, I mean anybody who's going to visit my buddy Kim Jong Un anytime soon. Russian programmers.
As we talked about yesterday, we're working on the ability for people to take their own sample. That does not mean home testing. That means taking your own sample in the front of your nose with available swabs into normal saline that can be transported to the laboratories. That will allow and free up all of the drive-throughs to be very sparing on PPE, because you'll be able to do that with gloves rather than the full.
You mean like they're doing it in South Korea, where they've got the systems where they've got gloves inside, like they're handling nuclear waste.
PPE outfits. This will allow for more of that
PPE. That reminds me of when I wet myself in gym class once. Don't bring up my bad memories, Deb.
PPE to be dedicated to our hospitals. I think those of you who are tracking this epidemic closely, like I am, you will
Are we?
begin to see that there is encouraging results coming out of Italy. We are impressed by the decreases that are seen in mortality, the number.
Yeah, because they legally shut down all of the epicenters of this, which we have not done, and the president is like, well, it's a suggestion.
Of people succumbing to this illness and the number of new cases. Our new cases will continue to surge because we're still working on our backlog, although
Don't touch your face, Fauci.
we will be in touch with the laboratories after this press conference to really find out how many are still in backlog and how many were run in the last 24 hours.
Backlog. So you've tested a bunch of people, but you haven't run their tests. Hang on a second. I've hoisted myself by my own petard.
Until we can get into a 24-hour cycle, we're going to have disproportional number of new cases compared to the actual new cases, and we will let you know when we.
Yeah, that's a fake number. That number is, I call it fake news.
We've reached that equilibrium. Finally, and I know Dr. Fauci will talk about this further, we remain deeply concerned about New York City and the New York metro area. About 56.
That's why I moved to Florida before this. Oh no, I said the quiet part loud.
Percent of all the cases in the United States are coming out of that metro area, and 60% of all the new cases are coming out of the metro New York area.
Largely because New York is the only one that's taking testing seriously, along with California, and they are managing it. And obviously, the other states where they're growing like crazy, like New Jersey, they're just not they're not testing yet. We've got a lot of tests, and they're all happening in New York, so that's where the numbers are climbing.
And 31% of the people succumbing to this disease.
Succumbing. Hello, I'm succumbing. Nice to meet you. Hello. Succumbing is here. He's making a mess on the carpet.
It means, because they still are at the 31% mortality compared to the other regions of the country, that we can have a huge impact if we unite together. This means, as
by staying apart.
In all places, they have to be following the presidential guidelines
that they already know about, because that's the standard protocol for an infectious disease. These aren't the president's protocols, damn it. But please, hold up the little paper.
Were put out 8 or 9 days.
You jackass.
Ago, and this will be critical. But to everyone who has left New York over the last few days.
Thanks for spreading it everywhere. Yeah, thanks. Good job. Nice job, everyone.
Because of the rate of the number of cases, you may have.
Oh, Fauci touched his nose again.
Been exposed before you left New York, and I think, like Governor DeSantis has put.
Yeah.
Put out today, everybody who was in New York should be self-quarantining for the next 14 days to ensure that the virus doesn't spread to others. No.
Even though it can last 17 days on a surface, and the incubation in a human can be 20 days. And when does your self-quarantine start? 5 days in or 2 days before?
No matter where they have gone, whether it's Florida, North Carolina, or out to far reaches of Long Island. We are
Really, you New Yorkers are the Chinese of America.
Starting to see new cases across Long Island that suggests people have left the city. So this will be very critical that those individuals do self-quarantine in their homes over these next 14 days to make sure they don't pass the virus to others.
Relax. Just have some food. Don't overbuy. Just have a nice meal. Relax. Enjoy it.
Based
It'll be over very quickly.
on the time that they left New York. So if they've already are 4 days out, then it's just 10 more days. So I thank you if you help
That they've spread it. They spread it for 4 days minimum.
get that message out to others. Dr. Fauci?
Please, they're now tapping out. These are going to be way shorter now because they realize dragging them on kind of brings up the fact that they're not actually doing the work of the task force while they're dicking around for 2 hours.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Deb. I want
Yeah, you're welcome. You're lucky you're still here, short stuff.
to just talk very briefly about 2 or 3 things. First, the issue of testing and how that has really changed the complexion of the approach that we're going to be able to take.
Look how far back Burks is standing. She's like, she couldn't get further away from that podium.
Testing was an issue.
How downwind of Trump do you have to be to want, like, her eyes are watering, you can
We
tell.
had many questions of testing in this room
She's like, how can I get further back?
for a number of times. Now that we literally have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of testing out there are a few things that we can do with that.
Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of tests that were supposed to be millions and millions.
One of the things is that when we make policy about what we're going to be doing with the rest of the country,
I hate this part.
particularly those areas that are not hotspots, we need to know what the penetrance of infection is there. So we
Ew.
need to put a light on those dark spots that we don't know. We have to act policy-wise on data.
Yeah, you need to test the other states beside New York.
And we're going to be getting more data, a lot more data. The other thing is that the areas of the country that are not hotspots, that are not going through the terrible ordeal that New York and California and Washington State are going through, they still have a window of significant degree of being able to contain. In other
If they don't have relatives who live in New York who escaped the city, who are now spreading it all over the friggin' place.
words, when you test, you find somebody,
You don't have tests. It's really nice. I appreciate where he's coming from, but they don't have tests enough for New York or California. The hotspots they can't test. The people in the cities, they don't have enough tests for New York, LA, San Francisco, and Seattle. Like Kirkland, the entire King County area. They don't have enough tests to test a tenth of the people there, much less stop an infection from spreading through Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Florida. Jesus Christ.
isolate them, you get them out of circulation, and you do the contact tracing. When you have a big outbreak, it's tough to do anything but mitigation. We have an opportunity now that we have the availability of testing to do that. So you're going to be hearing more about how we can inform where we're going, particularly because we have the ability to test. The second thing is I just want to reiterate what Dr. Birx said about New York. It's a very serious situation. They've suffered terribly through no fault of their own. But what we're seeing now is that understandably, people want to get out of New York. They're going to Florida. They're going to Long Island. They're going to different places. The idea, if you look at the statistics, it's disturbing. About 1 per 1,000 of these individuals are infected. That's about 8 to 10 times more than in other
Why don't you just stay in New York where there won't be any hospitals and just die there?
areas, which
What's wrong with New Yorkers that they won't
means
succumb in a city?
when they go to another place, for their own safety, they've got to be careful, monitor themselves. If they get sick, bring it to the attention of a physician, get tested. Also, the idea
If you can, which you can.
about self-isolating for 2 weeks will be very important because we don't want that to be another seeding point to the rest of the country wherever
It already is.
they go. And then thirdly, just one comment about drugs and the testing of drugs. You know, you heard yesterday about drugs being out there that physicians on an off-label way can prescribe it to give people hope of something that hasn't been definitively proven to work, but that might have some hope. I don't want anybody to forget that simultaneously with our doing that, we're also doing randomized clinical trials on a number of candidates. You've heard about candidates, but there are others in the pipeline. where we'll be able to design the study, and over a period of time, particularly since we have so many infections, we'll be able to determine definitively, are these safe and are they effective? We're talking about
I think they are. Get out of the way, Fauci. Honestly, if look, folks, I don't know how many times Clorox and Pop Rocks. It gives me hope, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
remdesivir, other drugs, immune sera, convalescent sera, monoclonal antibodies. All of these are
I can't pronounce all those things. I barely got hydroxychloroquine out, and now they're telling me it's quin and not quine, or quine and not quine. I lost track. I'm getting dizzy.
in the pipeline now, queuing up to be able to go into clinical trial. So I'll stop there and talk.
Thank you, Thomas.
Yeah, thanks, Fauch. Fauch man, little Faucher.
Larry, how about just a quick few minutes on how
Larry, why don't you come up here? Everyone thought you were falling asleep last time, so we had to wait till your fever
we're
broke.
doing over at the Hill?
You look healthy all the time. Tell them what's up.
We're gaining great progress on this Phase 3 legislation. Negotiations continue. We've had continued reports. I've been up there with Secretary Mnuchin. Secretary Mnuchin continues today with Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, checking in with the President. They're getting closer and closer. They expect to vote as soon
He's telling him for the first time.
as possible. I just want to walk
Touch
through
your face more.
a couple of
flick
key
your
points.
Booger right on the, flick that booger right on the counter, right on the podium. Just
This legislation is urgently needed to bolster the economy, provide cash injections and liquidity, and stabilize financial
thanks,
markets.
Rob.
To get us through a difficult period, a difficult and challenging period in the economy.
Is it, guys? Are you guys feeling? I don't know what he's talking
Facing us right now, but
about. Is it?
also to position us for what
Ladies, the Secretary of Booger Sugar, Carl. What are you doing? There he is. It's Booger Sugar. I haven't heard that term since 1982.
I think can be an economic rebound
At a party I wasn't invited to, but I went anyways.
later this year. We started the year very strong.
Very strong. Things were going great. And then, it's almost as if you go out driving with tinted windows and you don't set your mirrors and you don't check your tires and you don't check the gas tank and you just go, Florida, here I come, shit happens.
And then we got hit by the coronavirus in ways that probably nobody imagined possible.
No, lots of people imagine possible. Bill Gates did a TED talk about this a couple years ago, and the Obama White House put together a pandemic task force just like this one. It's as a permanent fixture in the administration.
We're dealing
Nobody could have expected this. I mean, honestly, who would have thought that if I left my house completely shit-faced, that I would crash my car? Nobody would have imagined that suddenly I would be a bad driver. Thanks,
best
Zeldas.
we can.
Lullaby.
This package
1111, make a wish, everybody.
will be the single largest Main Street assistance program in the history of the United States. The single largest Main Street assistance program in the history of the United States.
It's great. Yeah. Main Street department stores. They're wonderful. Most people don't know this. Main Street in Chicago, if you remember, they're now Kohl's. Some of you that lived in Chicago for a while know the Main Street stores. I installed the parquet flooring over a couple of summers in the men's department and one in the kids department.
Phase 2 delivered the sick leave for individuals, hourly workers, families, and so forth.
All that
Phase
stupid
3,
shit the Democrats wanted.
a significant package for small businesses. Loan guarantees
Hey, you're in.
will be included. We're going to take out expenses and lost revenues. As the president said, eligibility requires worker
Hey,
retention.
what are they hiding?
We will maintain the people eligible will
Why are they censoring the podium?
maintain their payrolls during this crisis
Bro,
period.
get out of the way.
And
Get that? Is that a GoPro?
on top of that, we will have direct deposit checks of roughly $3,000 for a family of 4, and that will bridge to enhanced, plussed up unemployment insurance benefits that will essentially take those up to full wages. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, A strong workforce requires strong business. You can't have a job without a business to work for. And the hope
Wait, what? When did that? What?
here is that
Most people aren't even aware because you people are stupid, and I cannot believe.
the companies that were operating very well at the beginning of the year when the economy was in good shape, we will
Well, inflated by a $1 trillion tax cut and
help them and their employees get through this tough period so they will come out the other side, let's say this later this spring or summer, and will continue their operations. That's the key point. Now, don't forget, there's income tax deferrals for individuals and corporations without interest and
is he drunk?
penalties. There,
Individuals and you know. Okay. Thank you, Billy
student
Hutchins.
loan interest and principal
Al Sparks, is Cudlow drinking hand sanitizer now fun? I think so.
deferrals without any penalties. And finally, I want to mention the Treasury's Exchange Stabilization Refund. That will be replenished. It's important because that fund opens the door for Federal Reserve firepower to deal a broad-based way throughout the economy for distressed
Fabulous.
industries, for small businesses, for financial turbulence. You've already seen the Fed take action. They intend to take more action. And in order to get this, we have to replenish the Treasury's emergency fund. It's very, very important. Not everybody understands that. That fund, by the way,
You don't know what a fund is. You can't. You don't tell me who my fund is. Fund.
will be
Mm-hmm.
overseen by
Yes,
an
sir.
oversight board and an
And that's what oversight boards do. They oversee stuff. In case you don't know, because you don't know.
inspector general. It
Officer, okay, maybe you're drinking and driving.
will be completely transparent.
No, it won't. That's what Mnuchin's on the Hill fighting for right now, is to keep the $500 billion that's going out from having any tracking on it.
So the total package here comes to roughly $6 trillion, $2 trillion direct assistance, roughly $4 trillion in Federal Reserve lending power. Again, it'll be the largest Main Street financial package in the history of the United States. Liquidity
Say package again. I like it when you say package.
and cash for families, small business, individuals, unemployed to keep this thing going. We're heading for a rough period, but it's only going to be weeks, we think. Weeks, months, not going to be years, that's for sure. And
No.
hopefully pave the way for continued economic recovery after this in the history of the United
watch.
States. Liquidity parts. Thank you, sir.
This would be so awesome.
I've been hearing
Good job, Larry. You don't look at all like you're melting on camera.
that voice for so many years, like 30 years or more, maybe. And it's a great voice, and it's a
It's a great voice, no matter what it says, whether what it says is true or not true. It's still a
great
good voice.
man. So, Larry Kudlow, thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry, for saying money stuff. Fauci, Burks,
I want to say that
way to bum everybody out, you crap-tastic assholes. You're blowing it for everybody. Why would you do such a thing? How come?
that package, and we went over parts of it, but pretty big parts, it really sets us up to, I think, even supersede where we were a month ago. I think we can get up
We
there.
could crater some of these businesses, buy their stocks low. All my friends on Wall Street are super excited.
Quickly, and I think it allows us to supersede. It allows us to help these great companies that need help, like Boeing, which is, it had a problem, and then on top of that problem, it had the virus come in. But we'll be helping Boeing. We'll be helping the airlines. We'll be helping the cruise lines. We'll be doing a lot of.
Why he keeps going back to the cruise lines when every company in this country is taking a giant shit right now. But it's super important that the cruise lines get bailed out. These petri dishes, and I perform on a cruise. I performed on one in November, and I will do it again at some point. But they're not. The United States economy doesn't pivot on cruise ships.
things, and the money will all come back to us, and it'll
It's all going to be back, and whether what's a couple of dead grandmas really?
come back to us in a very strong form. And before we take some questions, I'd like to ask our great Vice President to say a few words, if you would, Mike. Please.
Say some stuff about me, Mike. This is your chance, buddy. Go ahead. Try it. Go for it.
You using the whole fist on?
Go ahead, Mike. Tell him what a great job I'm doing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, for being just the standard of virility that America needs in this moment right
Mr. President, the White House coronavirus task
now. And thanks for whipping out the long red tie again. I feel like nostalgic. It's like an arrow that points to my second favorite part.
Force met again today. And on behalf of the President of the United States, everyone on our team and the state leaders, let me just say thank you, America.
Thank you, America. No, thank you. No, thank you.
People across this country, businesses large and small, are responding to the threat of the coronavirus.
And they're calling us and saying, what the shit is going on? I don't believe this. I saw on Fox News for weeks it was fake. And now you're saying we're going to be shut down while we try to save lives. When are you turning it back on? You better go on Fox tomorrow and say we're open by Easter, or
in ways that are deeply inspiring. People are acting on the President's 15 days to slow the spread, and it is making a material difference. Our experts.
Thanks for, by the way, I lost my framed ones on the wall. I got a brand new one. I get a new one every day, and the President signs it.
Standing beside us.
6 more days
told
for the
us
15
that
days of the 12 days that we're going to have left
every
as a
American,
backside to it as well.
Regardless of whether you're in an area that's impacted by an outbreak of the coronavirus or not, if every American would embrace these guidelines, that we could significantly reduce the number of Americans that would contract the coronavirus and protect the most vulnerable. And as the President reflected earlier,
we don't know who the most vulnerable are.
Tens of
the elderly are a huge part of that. That's the obvious part. Anybody that looks at the flu epidemics can tell you that. The problem is the spread of other people, and the people who don't have this, who aren't going to have a hospital bed when they have everything else that can kill you, because all the hospital beds and all the respirators and all the PPE and stuff is being used up by this.
Millions of Americans are doing just that. And
fantastic.
We're grateful.
We're so happy that they're willing to die for Wendy's.
The focus of our task force, of course, is to slow the spread, to promote mitigation strategies. Beyond that, though, the President has us focused on testing and on supplies and making sure that those that are
and money, getting back to,
are enduring the symptoms of the coronavirus, and those who are ministering to them are extraordinary healthcare workers have the support.
We have so many great people, the President, giving them last rites via Facebook videos live. So
that they need. In the category of supplies, you just heard Dr. Birx indicate that we've made great progress. We have done more tests in the last 8 days than were done in the previous 8 weeks, and it's because of the public-private partnership that the President forged with commercial labs. And I would encourage people around the country to remind your family members and friends, if you don't have symptoms, don't get a test.
Because we've got too many tests, and some of them are going to be collector's items.
We want to make sure
we want to be able to sell them with the President's signature on them as campaign memorabilia.
People who are having symptoms, who have a concern.
People are going to be at the Republican National Convention this summer dressed as COVID test kits. Look for it.
Have the ability to be tested and to have those tests processed. We're continuing to urge all county hospitals, all labs around the country to report to the CDC all the results of the test, as it'll give these experts around us the ability to continue to advise the President on best practices. As I mentioned, we all continue to follow the outbreak around the country and the test results. But as several have mentioned, we're particularly focused on New York.
Because that's where the data is coming from. And if we start testing everywhere else, we'll see that there's just as many infected all over the country. But
the reality is the New York metro area was 60% of the new cases in the country. And specifically, as a lay person, I can tell you that the infection rates are roughly 1 in 1,000 in the New York City metropolitan area.
And there's about 7 million people.
Where they are 0.2% per thousand or 0.1% per thousand in places like Washington State.
For now. But thanks to everybody leaving New York,
It is the reason why today
That's because they're testing, not because they.
the White House Coronavirus Task Force is calling on any American, first and foremost, if you're in the New York City metropolitan area or elsewhere, to take the guidelines that we issued and avoid
And get a tattoo like I have. I have a tramp stamp of this on my back right now, and the president signs it nightly.
non-essential travel. But for
Don't.
anyone in the New York metropolitan area who has traveled, our task force is encouraging you to monitor your temperature, be sensitive to symptoms, and we are asking anyone who has traveled out of the New York City metropolitan area to anywhere else in the country to self-isolate for 14 days.
It's just terrible.
We have to deal with the New York City metropolitan area as a high-risk area. And for that reason, we're taking these steps and asking for the cooperation of the American people. Because of the spread in New York City, we will continue to surge resources. The president has described this.
Surge resources. All the stuff we don't have enough of is going right out the door, and all the stuff we're going to have too much of isn't here yet. But consider that a good.
FEMA is coordinating with New York State for the arrival of the USS.
And by the way, hey, if you're watching this on Facebook or any other place, and that seems to be where all the assholes are currently, and you don't like my take on this, it's available on YouTube with zero commentary. Just go watch it. Go pound sand. Go suck his toes like you want to, and pretend he's actually there trying to do some good.
Comfort in just a matter of a few short weeks. Over the next 24 hours, more than 4,000 additional ventilators will be
That we've already had, and that we're not being mobilized, and that you should have sent out weeks ago. None are being built.
delivered to New York State as well.
Yeah, because they ordered them.
New York State has prioritized 3 alternative medical facilities, and at the president's direction, the Army Corps of Engineers is working on plans to build those facilities out. You've heard the president.
Wait, no, he said they were in the process of building hospitals. Now we find out they're working on plans.
Speak about the Javits Center, the addition of 1,000 beds, and will continue. I want the
The Javits Center is now a hospital, one of the best in the world. Temporary, but gold-leafed.
people of New York City and the greater New York City area to know that we're with you. We're going to continue to provide resources to support your state and local officials as they
Because legally we are required to do so.
confront the spread of the coronavirus in that great city. On the subject of supplies, we had team meetings today at FEMA, which is working on identifying the critical personal protective equipment and ventilators. At this
Okay, Mike, you're getting a little long. You're getting into my territory of being in charge of doing stuff.
point, FEMA informs us today that they are distributing 7.6 million N95 respirator masks, more than 14 million surgical masks, and FEMA has already
Yeah, he read those details already earlier.
shipped 73
Stop reading them like they're twice so people will start doing fake math in their head.
pallets of personal protective equipment to New York, 36 pallets of personal protective equipment to the state of Washington. We'll be meeting again tonight.
Yeah, Bob, there is a real problem that they would use Trump Tower, but it's septic. That's the way.
As you know, the president stood.
You know, I love to make gestures with my hands as if I was wearing the Marilyn Manson boob suit.
FEMA.
That's, oh, you rat. Quit it. Back up. I hate when it does that.
When you talk about areas that Dr. Fauci,
Masks to healthcare facilities at all across the country and to the national.
See, it does it again. Don't do that. Quit it, you rat. It's that touch screen that does it. Oh, we already talked about it.
to Tony before, it's a level that no place else is close. It's very unfortunate.
Oh, we're in
The
it.
outbreak around the country and the test results.
Skip ahead.
But as several have mentioned, we're particularly focused on New York. The reality is the New York metro area was 60% of the new cases in the country.
No, it's 60% of the positive tests.
And specifically, as a layperson, I can tell you that the infection rates are roughly 1 in 1,000 in the New York City metropolitan area. continue to surge resources on
Yes.
the spread of the coronavirus. And in fact, we see industry stepping up. President mentioned
Yeah. Okay. Questions,
encouragement to every American.
please.
We will get
Take the 15 days that are now 6 that we're going to make 3 and pretend that we're going to not have to do this again.
to that day quicker if every American will.
We will get to time will pass much faster if we all follow the president's guidance and we can find a way to get 1.21 gigawatts into this DeLorean.
Put into practice the president's coronavirus guidelines for
Don't pretend you have to even look. You know, you've got to memorize.
our nation. 15 days to slow the spread. If every American will do this, I have no doubt that we will slow the spread, we will protect our most vulnerable, and we will heal our land.
We will heal our land. Yeah, the land is fine, actually. It's the people that are going to get sick.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
very
President.
much.
Thank you so much, Mike. Should we do some questions? Let's do
Mr. President, you just reiterated that you
Let me hop on this horsey, get saddled up, and give you some of the magic.
hope to have the country reopened by Easter. You said earlier you would like to see churches packed on that day. My question is, you have two doctors on stage with you.
All I want to know is, what is that white thing on the seat in front of you? Is that so you can touch that?
Either of them told you that's a realistic timeline?
I think we're looking at a timeline. We're discussing it. We had a
We're talking about what I feel good about.
very good meeting today. If you add it all up, that's probably 9 days plus another 2.5 weeks. It's a period of time that's longer than the original 2 weeks. So we're going to look at it. We'll only do it if it's good, and maybe we do sections of the country. We do large sections of the country. That could be too. But no, we're very much in touch with Tony and with Deborah.
Yeah, we'll go. I'm going to see them next week. Oh wait, they're right here.
Everything we're doing.
Who suggested
I
that
just
day?
thought it was a beautiful time to be.
I just thought Easter would be great with the evangelical base. That's when I thought, it would make it look like I did a miracle by waiting.
Beautiful time, a beautiful timeline.
Beautiful time to start funerals again.
So that
It's a
wasn't
great
based on
day.
any of the data.
It was based on a certain level of weeks from the time we started, and it happened to arrive. Actually, we were thinking in terms of sooner.
But I figured, hey, why not wait till Easter, and then I'll have all my evangelical mega churches.
I'd love to see it come even sooner, but I just think it would be a beautiful timeline. John?
A beautiful timeline for the end of a pandemic.
If you look at what we've just seen in the last day or so, you've seen
The safest person at the Easter egg roll this year would be Sean Spicer, because he'd be wearing that suit, and he'd have a full-on respirator underneath it.
the number of known coronavirus cases in the country double in just 2 days. Another 95 people have died just in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, but I mean, were they worth saving?
New York's governor is saying this is spreading like a bullet train across the country.
We don't have bullet trains. That's like a Taiwanese thing.
And the governor of Louisiana is saying that his state may not be able to handle the cases that they're facing by early April. So what are you seeing in all of this that leads
What the shit are you talking about, man? Basically what he's saying.
to think
Yeah,
that we
we're
could
working with all
reopen
of
by
them, sure.
Easter or even earlier?
Sure. We're working with all of them. We can be talking about large sections of our country, because there are sections of our country that you didn't talk about that are doing unbelievably well. They have
Yeah, the Grand Canyon hasn't coughed in weeks.
very little incidents or problem,
No.
very small numbers.
Very small numbers in states with very small people.
It's very possible that they won't be ever subject to what's happening in New York. New York is definitely a hot spot. There's no question about it. And you know what we're doing in New York to try and help. And I think
People who live very far away, like the prepper community, isn't going to get hit by this because they don't have friends anyway.
we're doing an incredible job. We're going to have the hospitals up quickly, the medical centers also quickly. But we'll just have to see. We have to follow it. We have to see. We're going to look at that curve. We're going to see when it starts coming down. And we'll do the best job that can be done. John, please.
Not so far.
Question for you, Mr. President, Dr. Fauci, if we could. Just when looking at this idea of an Easter timeline, and I don't know that's probably flexible, what are the metrics
Can we talk to Dr. Fauci, please, who might actually...
by which you will make the decision as to whether you can say
No, he doesn't make the decision. I make the decision. He contradicts me, and I make.
Yes, we can open up this area of the country, or no, we can't open up that area. I mean, will you be looking at disease numbers?
The dude just can't. He's like touching his face like it's like he's a porn webcam.
Will you be looking at possible containment,
Oh God.
isolation? What
I
will you
think
be
we'll be
looking at?
looking at a lot of things. We'll also be looking again at
Oh, and then Fauci's.
very large portions of our country. And
We're gonna look at the Rocky Mountains. We'll open those again to oil drilling and ATVs.
I will be guided very much by Dr. Fauci and by Deborah and by some of the
Deborah,
other professionals that work with both of
Dr. Deborah, I call her.
you. And we're going to see what will be.
What?
But that would certainly be, I think that's a goal that perhaps can happen, or at least for a very large portion of our country.
Fauci, since, as the president said, you and Dr. Birx and others will be guiding him in making the decision, where are you now with this timeline, 19 days from now?
They have no idea. They don't have enough tests to know where it is.
So, I mean, that's really very flexible. We just had a conversation with the president in the Oval Office talking about, you can look at a date, but you got to be very flexible. And on a literally day by day and week by week basis, you need to evaluate the feasibility of what you're trying to do. And John, you asked for, what kind of metrics, what kind of data. When you look at the country, I mean, obviously, no one is going to want to tone down things when you see what's going on in a place like New York City.
Well, when you say no one,
I mean that's just, good public health practice and common sense.
well, nah.
But the country is a big country, and there are areas of the country, and I refer to this in my opening remarks, that we really need to know more about what the penetrance is there. So if we do the kind of testing what we're doing, and testing will always be associated by identification, isolation, and contact tracing, and you find after a period of time
that Shelbyville, Kentucky has no one in it that, has ever, doesn't know anybody, then maybe.
that there are areas that are very different from other areas of the country, you may not want to essentially treat it as just one force for the entire country, but look at flexibility in different areas. So I think people might get the misinterpretation. You're just going to lift everything up, and even somebody's going like that. That's not going to happen. It's going to.
You could tell Trump is so but
be looking at the data, and what we don't have.
Data
Have right now that we really do need is we need to know what's going on in those areas of the country where there
and we don't.
isn't an obvious outbreak. Is there something underneath the surface that says, wait a minute, you better be careful and really clamp down? Or what looks there that you don't really have to be as harsh as you are in other areas. So it's looking at information.
Yeah, because New Orleans, that place needs a clean sweep. If everybody there got wiped out, you could totally.
That up to this point, John, we never
My developer friends, you let Disney in on that business. Mwah.
had. So it's a flexible situation.
Was New York becoming on one? Is New York becoming the epicenter?
Well,
of
it certainly is by far if you call it hot, if you call it any word you want to use, it is.
Any word you want to use, like will-o'-the-wisp, or if you want to use the word flagrant, I like that word a lot. Or if hot, or you could also
At a level that I was speaking to Tony before, it's a level that no place else is close. It's very unfortunate.
no one's even close because they are testing. Nobody else knows.
One of the things
Yeah, it's very Persephonous, very flabbergasterish, if you want,
that's happened that we've done, I think, a really good job on. I think that it's something special. What's happened is I learned from Dr. Birx a little while ago when she said, I learned it actually this afternoon, in 8 days, because we kept hearing about South Korea. They had a very tough time at the beginning, if you remember. In 8 days, we're doing more testing than they've done in 8 weeks. That's a tremendous turn. And with our testing, it's going exponentially. It's going up, up, up every day. So we're going to be able to do things with this very highly sophisticated testing. And it's also The test itself is considered the best test. So,
No, a test works or it doesn't. There's not like, oh, this one's good. It comes in a cherry flavor, and also you get a little like our tests. You that has comes with a little bamboo umbrella.
top of doing now more than anybody else, we have a very high quality test.
We have a great test.
That makes a big difference. It also makes
You can tell how good it is by the number of
a
infected.
big difference, even in terms of opening, because we're going to see those areas like the hotspots. But New York
They're so hot right now.
City definitely is a very hot spot. Steve?
Oh, it's super hot. Things are growing. Like words like social distancing. It's the hotness.
When you talk about
New York is the new hotness. Let me just breathe through my mouth for a second.
areas that you could open up, what specifically are you looking at? What states?
Because I don't like standing.
Are you talking about out west?
Well,
or
you can talk
Midwest or
about
South? Where
the
exactly?
Farm Belt. Take a look at the Farm Belt. Take a look at
Look at
areas out west.
These are places where there's not a lot of people, and if they die, Big Ag can come in and buy those farms for pennies on the dollar.
Look at big sections of Texas. I was
There's lots of it where there's like a person.
talking to the great governor of Texas. They've done a fantastic job out there, but they have very big sections of Texas where, you know, it's like numerous states, frankly. But
Where there's like Indian land, and
we can
who cares? I mean, that land would be a lot cheaper if. I'm just saying they don't really have a lot of hospitals,
have
and it's a long drive to get help.
large sections of, if we want to do it that way, we could have large sections of the country.
Well, any day now, I'm gonna open the bottom of the Mississippi River again. You know, you can do
But I
that.
think it's very important that we start moving on that and start thinking about it, because our country wants to be open. Our people want it to be open, and they're raring to go. And I think
They're so excited. Everybody can't wait to rush face first, headlong, mask free into the fray.
it's one of the reasons that we're going to have a tremendous bounce back. I think it's going to go very quickly. Also, I want to thank, while I'm here, I want to thank Larry for the job he's done, Steve
So good. Larry, you're doing such a great job. And that voice.
Mnuchin for the job he's done.
He's doing great stuff, helping to hide where the 500 billion is going. And we'll be first in line at the tit to save Mar-a-Lago and all my other properties that are underwater.
If you look at Peter Navarro, he's sort of doing different things. He's really,
What is he doing?
he's a force in terms of getting
He's doing different things, and he's a force. Cool. You guys got that? And your what people do? What's their task force job?
masks and getting all of the ventilators and all the things. He's been fantastic, Peter.
All right,
But
there
I
we go.
also want to thank Congress, because whether or not we're happy that they haven't quite gotten there yet, they have been working long hours. I'm talking Republicans and Democrats, all of them. The House, the Senate. I want to thank Congress
Things that aren't the House and the Senate.
because they are really trying to get there, and I think they will. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Did you give Governor Cuomo a heads up, Mr. President, about the quarantining for people who left New York? Did you give Governor Cuomo a heads up about quarantining people?
We're talking to them about it.
Did you have
Down
some?
to that, then that's a no. That's a no. Mr. Mr. President, did you tell Cuomo beforehand about quarantining people who were leaving the state? Did you give him a heads up about that? Yeah, we're going to talk to him sometime next week. We're going to have a website up that will show that. Loom, boom, boom, boom. Look at that ass as he walks. I'm telling you. Fauci, don't try to take my place in line. Boy, that Secret Service guy is death staring those reporters. Did you ask the president a rough question? Don't make me reach for my sidearm.
What are you asking for, Mr. President? Is it
Open the
wise
door
to
for
attack
me,
churches
Mr.
on Easter? It takes one person to contaminate a whole county.
There's one person who can contaminate a whole county. Hate this thing. Thanks for touching the pillars on your way out the door. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hi, I want to jump into the chat and start talking to you guys in part of this. Yeah, Navarro is now crocheting face masks in his spare time. Yeah, they actually do have questions. Yeah, the lobbyists are definitely jumping in there. Restaurants survival had a tremendous bounce back after weeks of people cooking for themselves. Right. Right. Like like the greenery in Chernobyl. It's gonna be huge. Like the deer around Chernobyl, they've come back, and they're better deer because now they have like an extra leg and two heads. They're extra delicious. Um, absolutely, I'm doing my best. We will work our way through this. I have a feeling though, considering the amount of trolling that I'm getting, that they are having some impact. It's getting, we're getting up, it's working its way up the chain. Hi, Jude. Hal, he hasn't a single order to shut anything down. How can he reopen? Exactly, Langdoodle. That's the absurdity of it. So, yeah. So let's see. The U.S. has performed 5 tests per million people. South Korea did 3,692 tests per million. Please, someone tell the truth. Exactly. We've done a lot more than they have. Well, we have a lot more people. You don't get extra points for that. We should have been way ahead of that curve. Yeah, the Chernobyl deer, they're extra good. They're tasty. It cooks itself. That's what people don't know. You save on energy costs. I love making fun of trolls. I know. There's a bunch of those folks in there. I don't know if shall we? Um, oh, thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. Oh, it's looking good. This looks so exciting. Okay, you guys have to wait. Hold on. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to show you. Well, I'm so excited. Hold on. Okay, talk amongst yourselves. Just be a second. It smells so nice out here. It smells so nice. It looks good too. I'm going to show it to everybody. See if my mic still works as I go all the way downstairs or not. Oh, it's looking good. Oh, it looks so good. Is it cooled off enough? Yeah, it's cooled off enough. Oh, it's just great. Hold on. This is just to panic everybody in the watch out. So I had missed, okay, is my audio still good? Yeah, you guys heard me coming up. Check this out, okay? Just to prove I made it myself. And, oh wait, you're gonna love this, okay? You guys ready for the reveal? First of all, doesn't it look lovely already? Blueberry pie. But I had missed my guys at Lodge. So I made a Freemason blueberry pie. Huh? Honestly, doesn't that look delicious? Look at that. Handmade blueberry pie. What's happening? And it's warm and delicious. Look at that. That's for Lodge 42. I miss you guys. It smells so good. I'm like, I want to slam my face. This is my honorary Reverend Hal Sharpton blueberry pie. They still got the blueberry pie all over their faces. Look at that. That turned out great. This is one thing that is improving over the course of this. It, quite frankly, is my baking skills. They went, hi, kitty. Hi, kitty, kitty. We've got a cat. Would you guys like to see the cat as well? Hold on. Maddie, come here, Maddie. Come here. I know. Hi. You what? Well, tell me a story. Everybody wants to see you. Everybody wants to see Maddie. Hi, Maddie. There she is. Aw, thanks, Joe Carter. That's for the Maddie Fund. We will continue to be able to feed Maddie during these dark times. And thanks again to our Patreon supporters. You guys are wonderful. I greatly appreciate it. She's such a good kitty. She Yeah, you okay? You okay, Maddie? Okay, here. She doesn't want to get down. But you'll cover me in hair and I won't be able to go anywhere. It's just how it works. Yeah, the cat's like, whatever. I'm dead inside, quite frankly, and I've had enough of you. Marley. Well, I'm sorry about your late cat, Marley. Whoops, hold on. The camera gets out of. I have to reset it sometimes to get in focus. Oh yeah, pie waits for no one. This is true. Wisconsin, there was a restaurant outside of town that had some of the best blueberry pie I've ever eaten. Oh, it sounds great. Well, I was inspired to make a blueberry pie because of all the fruit and stuff that's been around. So like when I do go to the grocery store, because I'm going less frequently, obviously, and buying more stuff when I go, but not a lot of stuff. I'm not hoarding. We got one thing of toilet paper, and that's it. Yes, it is a shame that no one can believe anything that 45 says, and that's of his own doing. So, yeah. I want to hold on. I'm going to try to do something real quick while I'm on here with you guys, and then I'm going to um, hop off. What was that? Yeah, go. There you go. And did I get? Oh, yeah, cool. And then hold on. And hold on, moving this. There you go. I know some of you guys can't hang when I'm doing the Trump things because it drives you crazy. Um, how do we get our necklaces now when sadness? Um, well, we will see. It depends on how mailing out stuff uh, goes, but yeah. It's all a big surprise. Hold on, we're just all dealing with this as we. Yes, I did make my own crest. Thank you. Um, yeah, the crust is pretty darn good. Does anyone have insight on the Senate BS? They're just going to be wrestling about this stuff. I think the only thing that Democrats put a bunch of stuff in there largely as tuning points so that they'd have stuff to drop. It's what they used to call hair on the knuckles. There was I forget what, I think it was Michelangelo. No. Was it? I think it was Michelangelo. When he would paint portraits of royalty, they would always want to change stuff, and his painting was so good they looked exactly like the person. It was like a photograph, and it annoyed him that they wanted to make themselves look better. So what he would do is he would add extra hair on the knuckles, and they would be so embarrassed by how much hair was on the knuckles that they wouldn't change anything else. They'd go, "I love it, but can you take the hair on the knuckles down a touch?" And he would do that. He would get rid of it on purpose. He knew that they didn't that they'd want it to go. So yeah, smash the like, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, do all that fun stuff, pass it around to your friends, especially your jerkweed troll friends on Facebook, apparently. Um, and I will be on every single day doing this on the show. Just every time they do one of these, I'm gonna go, you know, directly and take the piss out of it because these are ridiculous. These little press conferences that they're a waste of time. They're embarrassing. They're it's I can't let it pass. So, anyways, I'm gonna go have some blueberry pie and share some with the fam. And you guys, I will do later on today. I'll hop back on. I'll be gaming later as well. And then I'm gonna try and do at least one stream a day that isn't related to this stuff, so we can, if you um, if you can't stand the sound of Trump's voice and don't like me doing these kind of things, I'll find something else to do. I also, if you do like these things, I gotta do the Trump Fox News like infomercial they did yesterday. So yeah. So anyways, you guys are wonderful. I will see you again quite soon. And like I said, like and subscribe to the show. Become a Patreon if you can. If you can't, please, and you need to step back during this stuff, I appreciate it. If you want to donate to the show, it's paypal.me/Hal Sparks if you don't want to become a patron. Or you can just super chat whenever I'm on. And that really helps too. I appreciate you guys doing this. Flappers in LA, because they can't do shows right now, is doing takeout food from their restaurant, which is actually quite good. And they're having comics come out and tell jokes 6 feet away from the cars as they hand out the takeout. And Barbara, who runs the place, I wish her all the luck in the world making this happen. And when we've gotten over the hump with this and we can go back to doing live shows, I've told her already that I'm going to do some shows for them that they can charge a ticket price, whatever the, like regular ticket price for, but I'm not going to charge the club. Not that I got a lot of money to throw around these days or whatever, but if the clubs go away, none of us have venues. So wherever I'm doing shows, I'm going to add on an extra show. And these monthly shows that I've been doing at Flappers, which I do for a flat fee or a door deal, I'm going to let them keep that. So that they can, get back on their feet, that the waiters and waitresses and all those folks can do that. So I'm going to go. Oh, you were Christian. You must have been in Cincinnati if you saw me at the beer festival. That was actually a lot of fun. I got my WKRP shirt there. It was awesome. But I will be doing, those kind of shows at all the clubs, and I will let you guys know which one that show will be. Most of the time, if I'm at a club and it'll be a Sunday show or a Thursday show, it's the free show for them. And the more people who can kind of come out and help them out for a while, that might be the turning point for some of these. Yeah, and thanks for reminding everybody, Can't Stop Lying. Call somebody, FaceTime with somebody. Everybody's, if you're feeling a pinch of loneliness, somebody who's really aching from it. So reach out to them. Give them as much of a digital hug as you can. If you can, FaceTime does a thing where you can loop people in on FaceTime. If you can bounce somebody together, if you can, the kids in one place, the grandparents are in another place. If you can do both at the same time, I highly recommend that. But the important thing is we take care of everybody as best we can and take care of ourselves. Thank you, Cap the Goat. I appreciate that. That's awesome. I still got to change that icon for the Patreon. It's a little for considering it was decided on before it. But I adore you guys. I'll be back on later. Don't forget to work out too. Do some. Can't Stop Lying's the man. He's got the no gym workout down. So following his footsteps. I might stream a workout or something as well. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. See you soon. Bye.